Hey there, and welcome to DIY Projects with Pete. In today's video renovation series, we'll be taking a look at the kitchen's layout and some of the things that we can do to maximize our space for entertaining and for hosting all of our family and friends. Now in today's video, we're specifically going to look at the kitchen island and some of the things we want to think about when determining its size, its shape, and then the spacing around it. So the walkways and the space between the kitchen island and your cabinets and appliances. In this video, we'll also take a look at some of the updates that we've done recently in the renovation. And so if you enjoyed this video and find it helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and let's go ahead and get started. Here's a look at some of the recent progress. We installed a Danish wood-burning stove, which is a focal point of the entire room, and it's a great source of heat. We trimmed out the windows, and now we're working on the kitchen layout for the new island that's going to be built in an upcoming video. I put in all new appliances that are backed by a 10-year warranty and top-notch service by the Maytag man, and I want to give a big shout out to Maytag for sponsoring this video. When it comes to islands, there's all sorts of options and ideas. Just doing a quick search, you'll find tons of inspiration. Now, as you might know, I'm a big fan of concrete counters, and so I'll be doing concrete counters in the entire kitchen and for this island. Now, here's an example of a concrete island with waterfall edges, and that just means the concrete continues all the way down on the sides. I really like the concept, and I think I'm going to incorporate it into the island that I make. Now, the first thing I like to do to figure out the size of the island and the layout is to determine how much space is comfortable in different areas of the kitchen by opening up some of the cabinet drawers and doors. I like to have at least around 40 inches between the cabinets and an island, and I'm going to do close to 4 feet for this layout, so there's plenty of room to walk around one another and to work in the kitchen. Now, you can certainly get by with less if you don't have as much space to work with. I also like to open the appliances and to try and simulate some of the normal routines you have in your kitchen to see how the layout's going to function. Some refrigerators do have pretty deep drawers, and so pull them out and see how much space you'll have when they're all the way out. And you want enough room so it's comfortable, but not too much so that it's a stretch to get from the counters to the island. Once you figure out the best placement for the island, I like to measure and mark where it will go. This island will be one solid surface without any appliances or a sink, which is going to help maximize the space for hanging out in the kitchen. It seems like, no matter how many couches and super comfortable chairs there are, everyone always ends up hovering around the kitchen during those dinner parties and, snacking on the hors d'oeuvres and the food around the island. So because of this, I typically like to build the islands at least about 3 feet deep by 5 to 8 feet wide or so. I want an island where I can have a few chairs and room to spread things out on, so I'm going to line up the end of the island with the door frame and make it about 7 feet in width. It's also important to think about spacing between other parts of the living space, especially if you're going to have an overhang on one side so you can have a little seating area. Because you need extra space to walk behind the area where people are sitting, I like to have about 5 feet of space between the island's counter and then things behind it. Now, I had a few counter height stools sitting around to test the spacing for how many chairs will fit comfortably, and so I'm going to space it so there are 3 chairs in this area, and those chairs are also going to help in determining leg room and the length that you're going to want your overhang. I typically like to do overhangs that are about 12 to 15 inches, so you have plenty of leg room and space to tuck in the chairs when not in use. I'm going to extend the concrete counters about 12 inches for the overhang on my kitchen island. Last year, I helped my good friends Jake and Libby with their concrete countertops, and the 12-inch overhang has worked really well for their setup, so I'm going to model mine somewhat after what they did. I'm going to add a couple electrical outlets to the kitchen island, so I took a look at where I'll be able to run up the electrical from the basement. During planning, you'll also want to think about what you want to do for lighting in the kitchen. I'm going to be doing recessed lighting in the kitchen with hanging pendant lights over the island area. Now, if you have an attic above the kitchen, this is going to make the wiring process a lot easier. Once I had the layout figured out for the most part, I placed a rolling island cart I had built a while back, and I moved it around each corner to test the layout once again. Getting this right is key to a kitchen you're happy with, so take your time with the process. I also played around with the overhang depth and the legroom area, and this is important to do, especially since chairs come in all different shapes and sizes. My friend Leah, who's helping out with some of the interior design, gave me the idea to give the kitchen island cabinets a contrasting color from the other cabinets, so I think I'm going to go with a navy blue as it looks really sharp and clean. Here's a quick look at some of the other renovations we've done recently. I tiled the entryway with a charcoal gray tile and did some temporary rails to make the entryway area safe. When I get to it, I'm thinking a steel rail and cabling would look real nice and keep that modern and open theme to the room. The wood-burning fireplace was installed. The hearth is made of steel, and I'm thinking I'll plasma cut the front of it so it's round and doesn't come out quite so far. The other option would be to find a glass hearth for it, which would be really cool because you could see the wood floor underneath. I need to put in the order for the windows soon, and I'm thinking floor-to-ceiling windows to really bring the outside in, to bring a lot of light into the house, and then perhaps doing a folding door behind the fireplace because I could build a deck outside and you'd be able to walk right out, and then to rotate the fireplace so it faces the outside while I'm entertaining friends and family on a cool summer night. So that could be pretty cool. I think the open floor plan and the new kitchen layout and island are all going to tie together nicely and be a great place to entertain. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. I hope today's video will help in organizing your kitchen layout and maximizing that space to host your family and friends. If you did find it helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks again for watching, and cheers from Montana.